Hi, my name is Will, and welcome to the Distorted Transmission for today. I'm talking to Wellington's Dream State Empire. How are you guys?
Really good, thanks.
Yeah, pretty good. Fresh out of band practice.
Yep, yeah, literally.
How was band practice today? Good?
Disjointed just because of things in life getting in the way, but I think it was good. Actually writing some new stuff, and it sounds pretty good.
Polishing off a new one. So, yeah.
Well, we actually completed an interview a few days ago, and due to technical issues, we had to redo it today, so I'm very sorry about that.
It's all good.
Could you guys please introduce yourselves again for those watching?
Cool. We're Dream State Empire. I'm Nick, I'm the vocalist.
I'm Sasha, I'm the drummer.
And not present is we've got Jamie's guitar, Scott guitar, and Joel on bass.
Excellent. Okay, so it's brief history time again. Could you please let me know how long the band's been around? That kind of thing.
4 years, isn't it?
Yeah,
4?
2018.
Yeah, we had to look back into that. We're too sure. It feels like forever. It's about 2018. Kind of just starting a new band. Me and Jamie, and we kind of grabbed a few people we kind of find. Happened to stumble upon these lovely people, and kicked off pretty quick and fast, really.
It was easier than you'd think to find people and like suddenly be able to make music.
Yeah, because we went straight into just doing originals. We weren't really looking to do covers or anything like that, and we all clicked pretty well. And we started gigging not too long after that. We've had Scott's been with us for the last 2 years. We have had a change in the middle, but we've been gigging and writing for the last sort of 4 years. We did an original EP, but now we're on to our second EP, which we're talking about today.
See how when you do an interview twice, like the second time, it's so much smoother.
Yeah. I know what's coming.
Cool. So I've been listening to the 5-track EP, Foot from the Gutter, that you sent me prior to the official release date. And it's a pretty solid release, I must say. Could you tell me about the EP, where it was recorded and when it's being released?
So it was recorded probably about 10 months ago, I think. It's been a bit of a hectic year, to be honest. We know getting everything together now.
Yeah.
Foot from the Gutter, we recorded it in Undercroft Studios out in Wellington with friend of ours, Sam Hyam. Massive shout out to him. He's done really, really good work. So we recorded with him and mixed and mastered everything through him. Been really, really good. And I think I know we're pretty happy with it, to be honest. Pretty stoked to finally see some air.
It was really nice as well, like the recording process, because it was flat. Not to say that it wasn't like a very professional setup, but because we'd known him for a while as well, and he was a friend of ours, like the whole thing just seemed really relaxed and everything.
And he knows us quite well. Like we've played with other bands he's been in and such, and he's seen our music and that. So it was really useful to have, sound engineer who's like, I know all these because I've seen you playing them, and he has ideas and kind of, gets what we're trying to do. So we went really smooth. That we're quite beneficial.
It's good if the sound engineer can translate what you are live into what you are on a recording. So definitely knowing the band first is definitely a bonus. Cool. Okay. I did notice the mixes between tracks were a little different, probably from my drummer ears, noticing different snare tunings, maybe the different velocities on the bass drum, etc. Just tiny things, tiny telltale things. Were the tracks recorded over a length of time? Like did you record some of them maybe one weekend and another bunch of different weekend or anything like that, or were they all recorded at the same time?
It was all over one weekend, wasn't it?
I don't know about the drum track. So we recorded the EP over a couple weekends as a whole thing. Whether we did the drums all on one weekend, because that tends to be easier, but I'm not sure if we did.
I just remember doing basically.
There was basically it was basically 2 days, which was all drums, right? Just to get that sorted first, as we got the sort of ghost tracks down and then the drums done over it.
But I think thinking about it, I did have a week between recordings. Yeah.
So it would have been separated.
Like the snare tuning in some of the tracks, it was a bit snappier, a little bit like higher, and in other ones it was kind of lower and it had more overtones to it. So I didn't know whether that was an intentional tuning or whether it was just sort of happenstance.
It was to a degree. Some of the songs, especially in the choruses and that, are a lot more open, so you want the snare to kind of fill that space. And other ones, like say Fair, when I do things that are a little more fiddly, I want it to be a bit snappier and tighter and less sort of boomy.
Yeah, Sasha in the studio is very finicky about how things sound and work, and spends a lot more time than I spend a little time being the vocalist. So it's very easy for me to set up and get ready to go, but
just a fuss pot leaning on Sam Holmes' calm demeanor.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there were a few minor things that I tried to change, but I also think that a lot of that would be down to Sam and our conversations as to how I wanted things to sound, and so him pushing it in that direction, not only in the recording but also in the mix.
Okay, cool, good answer. All right, so I was going to ask you if this was your first release, but you just said a moment ago that you actually released something before. This is your second release. I was going to ask you if this was like a collection of your sort of best work up to this point, but it wouldn't be, would it? Because you've already released one thing, so this would be like the second half of the best.
Yeah. No, you're
best
right.
work since the last one.
Yeah, basically, best work since the last one is where we look at it basically. So we released our first EP 2 years ago, just before just as sort of COVID hit, admittedly. So that was our first EP. Wi-Fi'd it, so that's already on all the streaming platforms and such already. And that was a 4-song EP. And yeah, and in between we kind of, we're writing a lot of stuff, making new stuff. Some things make it, some things don't. Some songs you think will probably, that'll be on the next EP. And then by the time you get ready to compile a next EP, you go, no, not that one. We've got better ones now. And a bit of that happened with this one. Yeah. This is our second EP. So this is our best songs up until now.
The ones that you make sure are on the set list for a gig.
Yeah, like they're not ones that we would drop out or strip out. They're always going to be really on the set list we're playing because they're our strongest ones.
They are solid songs, and they do all kind of sit quite nicely on that EP, particularly in that order. I felt they sort of like flow quite well.
It's funny you say that.
Why is that?
It's good to hear someone say the flow is good because that was probably a point of contention for us. Was we were happy with the songs and went, they all mix well together. We didn't really think too much about the order till we kind of went, we need to order these.
We did.
Couple of them.
It was ages ago. I forgot about it, and then got all. Is this the right order?
Yeah, I think we recorded it. We had we had an order in mind. Then when we came to actually compiling it, through channels and stuff, we went, what order are we doing again? We're like, no, we have the order. We recorded it in a specific order, so we make sure it sticks to that. So yeah, it is planned to flow properly like that.
I don't think it matters quite so much these days because people tend to listen to like songs individually and sort of playlists. But I think having a general flow with an album or an EP can be beneficial to people who want to just sit down and just listen to it as a whole.
I'm still a fan of listening to an album from start to finish.
For sure. Okay, next question. Do you have a game plan in mind where you have sort of a rough timeline of when releases might occur, or is it very fluid, like it's just based on creativity and finances and other things?
It's a little bit finance stuff, and the world's been a bit topsy-turvy in the last couple of years, so that's obviously been factored in just from people being unable to do gigs last minute and things dropping out. So that's been the same for writing and getting it all lined up.
I think that's the reason that it's taken us so long to release this one, given that the songs have been actually ready for quite a while.
Yeah.
COVID kind of
did its thing.
Forced a bit of a holding pattern with this one. So I think we do kind of go with the flow to some extent with releases.
Yeah, I think generally, there is a funding factor to it, obviously, when you because you're going to recording and stuff. It's not like a cheap endeavor to do, but it's probably the biggest thing for us. It's probably just making sure we've got something we think is strong enough to become an EP. Since we recorded these, obviously, like I said, about 10 months ago, and because of COVID and stuff slowed us down. But there's a few new things we're writing at the moment. Like we just come from a band practice writing songs. They might make it onto a future release, but it's once we're happy and going, right, we've got a handful of songs that we're like, that's a solid release. Not just going, we've got 5 songs now, that's the next one, but going, are they actually good enough to be an EP? So it kind of just comes when we feel ready, I suppose. And
for context, like with this one, we have got a set release date, the 26th of August.
So close.
It's very close. And the decision in choosing that date was just like, okay, we need a goal, and there are a couple of loose ends that need tying up before then. This can be the date. That's the date. We are able to get everything else done in that time.
Having a set date is very important. I've found personally, like just having sort of like a once it's ready we'll release it kind of mentality. Like everything takes 6 times longer. So cool.
Yeah, there's a once we're ready we'll record mentality, but for the release it's much better if you just go, this is it, line in the sand, that's the day we build everything towards it. Yeah.
Last question, I think. The tracks seem to indicate a blend of funk and rock influences. almost a Lenny Kravitz vibe to it in some ways. Although that reference is a bit dated by today's standards, I'm kind of showing my age. Who are the primary songwriters, and how do you build songs? And where do those influences come from?
First, Joel will be very happy about the funk determination.
The funk definitely comes from Joel.
It's definitely there.
He's he's notoriously loves funk bass, so and he manages to blend it in quite well with some heavier stuff. So yeah, he'll certainly appreciate the recognition of funk.
Manages to pull me in with him.
Yeah,
I mean,
he'll find a way. He'll always find a way to slip in the funk. But songwriting wise, we're pretty collaborative. Like we don't go away and have one person write a song and then the others just sort of flesh it out a bit. We kind of always write collaboratively, which I at least from my experience isn't always the case with bands. I've previously not had that kind of setup. But yeah, for us, we kind of just bring snippets, and then half the time it's this snippet from someone else will actually, we can blend it into this, and we just becomes the song that way. It's very rare someone will write an entire song and go, cool, I've got a verse, chorus, bridge, everything. It's more just like, I've got an idea for a verse. Cool. Oh, this could go into this could go into that.
Rare, but it does happen to some degree. Because like, say for Powder Train, Scott had written the bones of that.
Yeah.
And brought it to band practice.
Actually, medley,
Thanks, Scott. Like we've got like a whole song skeleton here. We just need to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but yeah, that Power Train on this new EP, one of our faves. That was sort of constructed mostly skeleton wise by Scott. He just brought that and went, look, we don't need to change too much of this. We're just going to flesh it out with you. But yeah, that's not normal for us, but it worked really well, and the song still seamlessly fits in with the rest of our stuff that's maybe written in a different, more collaboratively.
All right, cool, good answers. That's about all I have to ask you, but I thought maybe at the end, as always with all interviews, I always ask people, is there anything else you'd like to add at the end? Probably
just to keep an eye on all our socials and such, as people like to plug, just because the release for Foot from the Gutter, our next EP, is on 26th of August, so literally not very far away, which keeps dawning us. So yeah, EP
release gig as well in mid September. And if you want details on that, just again keep an eye on social media. Dream State Empire NZ, I think.
We'll link it.
We'll link it.
I'll drop all the links in the actual release, so yeah, people will know where to go. Thanks very much for chatting with me for a second time, and I must say that you guys did way better the second time. You're way more relaxed and more bubbly and more
it's
honed.
a Sunday. I didn't have to work for 8.5 hours before this.
True. Cool. Well, all the best with the release, and I hope a few more people come your way from seeing this interview. Fingers crossed.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Will.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for making the time.
Thanks for making the time to fix the fuck up. And thanks for watching.